Digimon World 4 is frustrating Elysian playing solo. Yep, I'll start the video like this. Only, I'm not sure how to continue the video. Maybe before sharing why the game frustrated me when I played it solo, I should share background info about the game. Digimon World 4, or as originally released in Japan, Digimon World X is fourth entry in Digimon series, I think. And because it was a game for next gen consoles at the time, then it wasn't released on PlayStation, but was released on PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox. I played the PlayStation 2 version. It was developed by PEG, which merged with Banpresto into PP Studio, long after this game's release. And of course Bandai published it for the previous mentioned consoles. This time the gameplay isn't a turn-based, it's action-based hack and slash gameplay, where you play as Digimon, so no all main characters in this game. The premise of the game is that before you joining the digital security guard, this SG for short, there was a trouble with a different server, but also a mystery server appeared, so Leomon and Digimon was sent to investigate the mysterious server. But the SG lost contact with Leomon's party. Other players joined the event sent to find Leomon and Digimon. After doing that, players find that the computer virus called X-Virus is spreading throughout the digital form, and so players need to get rid of the virus. And it's done by reaching a dungeon, similar to Digimon World dungeons, but not randomly generated, of the arena to get a key after defeating dungeon boss, then doing the second time, or even for third time, or maybe more, to be able to go into a final dungeon of the arena, to defeat the final dungeon boss of the arena. And it's like that to the end of the game, or even in the boss game. Like when you unlock a new arena, you need to do the same thing. In dungeons can have traps, or even before reaching the dungeon, there may be traps, which you might or might not be able to destroy. And destroying them you don't get experience. By the way, this game is closely connected to the Digital Monster X Evolutions movie. Like the premise about X-Virus is similar, if not same. But how Digimon deal with the X-Virus is at least a little bit different. Like even the game opening is from a movie. So in the opening there isn't anything from the game. Only some Digimon, but those movie clips, which might spoil the X Evolutions movie. Even though it's a Digimon game, Digimon can have equipment, as you already have seen from the game footage, and Digivolutions are very rare. Only in post-game you can Digivol. More about Digivolutions later in the game. You can have up to 3 weapons equipped to you, but only the first weapon will be the main weapon, and to equip those 3 weapons on you, you need to do it in the Digilab, but switching between them, you can do anywhere. For armor and support can be changed anywhere, and only one of which can be on you. For all of the equipment, there's a chance you can add mods to them. However, for weapons, only the main weapon can have mods. So there are places where you need a specific mod, and if you can't mods on your main weapon, then you need to switch to other weapon, for which you can add mods, and then manually adding mod to them weapons every time when you need to change the modded weapon. Still, this game is a RPG elements like having levels, of course, for which, of course, when leveling up, you get healed and mana refilled, but also weapon techniques. If you only use one type of weapon, then if you get a stronger weapon, which is in the same type of weapons, you won't be able to equip, because you didn't increase the stats for the weapon type beforehand. Only the same type of weapons you will be able to equip. Of course, if you reach the minimum requirement stat for the weapon type. Of course, there are MP tags. I only unlocked 3 MP tags in the playthrough, like range attack, ability to stop opponents from moving, and healing only yourself. There are side quests, which you can read to them, if you want, but there isn't a quest log system where it shows your quests. However, the side quests logs you into doing the side quest until you complete it, or get the default rank to complete it. Okay, finally those frustrations, what? Okay, finally those frustrations that game made. However, the first thing turns out it wasn't the game fault. So because I don't know where else to mention, so I'll mention it now. I dragged the game 8-bit controls, like the character faced the opponent side direction when I wanted to attack CPU. Turns out the controller was at fault. By the way, one controller broke somehow when I played this game, and it was a newer controller. Nothing broke visible for the controller. After finishing a play session, I unplugged the controller, and when I wanted to play the game afterwards, I plugged the controller back in the computer, and it just didn't work. So I had an older controller for which joystick can be stuck in one position, so I finished the game with that controller. I guess that happens with cheap controllers. Now about why I was frustrated because of the game. It felt like it was a cooperative game first, and single player was an afterthought. Like before starting the game, when choosing Digimon, and when saving the screen is split into 4 parts, even when playing solo. And there's an option to start cooperative mode from in-game. At first I thought there wasn't scaling, so I figured I would search for cooperative playthrough. Turns out there is scaling. Even in the playthrough, someone was surprised there is scaling.
DC'd or something. Oh my goodness. Okay, so wait, they actually spawn. The amount of enemies that spawn is dependent on how many people are playing, because there should only be 2 enemies here.
Fire! Oh, well, there's a lot more than that.
Also, I'm pretty sure they usually give less than 8 experience, so I think the game actually takes into account the amount of players. 100%, I did not think this game would be smart enough for that.
You thought we'd just steamroll it with like one enemy.
No, I thought it would be harder because there would be less enemies and we wouldn't level up for bosses.
Oh, okay, I get you.
I can't see.
When you play single player in this game, you have to grind a lot.
At least it's a different enemy count, and lower experience gained when defeating an enemy. But even with that, it seems the game is easier in cooperative mode. Like in single player, it was too difficult already as a start of the game. I died a lot in the first arena, not in a dungeon but in an arena. Thankfully there isn't a game over screen. Instead of it, you lose all of your peace, currency, and experience that you got in the session. And with it, you will lose all of your experience back to the start of the level. For example, if you need one more experience for level 4, and you die, you need to start grinding from the start of level 3. Thankfully, that isn't the case, and losing experience is under level 2. But then in either way, when reloading, the arena enemies respawn, including turrets from which you can't get experience. Thankfully, in dungeons, enemies don't respawn when you go out and back into them. Only in the play session, that is. Saving is possible only in server. Yeah, saving is possible only in one place in this game. And you know what it says? I know it doesn't save in progress dungeons, even when you also the emergency kit. It only saves your stats, inventory, including if you collect a key from a dungeon and if you completed a story dungeon, and some story things. Like if you save the game in middle of a dungeon, not only you will need to fight against enemies in the dungeon, but also reach it and of course fighting the arena enemies before the dungeons. So if you are playing it on an actual hardware on consoles, then you will need to complete a dungeon in one PlayStation. Like you will need to go through a dungeon for around 2 hours in one sitting. Surprisingly, it wasn't the final dungeon that led to the final boss that took around 2 hours. Most annoying part of the game is that CPU can damage you not just by attacking, but also just by walking into you. That's a platformer thing. Oh. Right. There's a little bit of platforming in this game, but this little amount of platforming doesn't excuse CPU damaging you just by walking into you. With it, the CPU can chase the player. So where it was possible, I tried chasing CPU. But the CPU can chase the player more often. CPU damaging players just by walking into them is understandable only when there are multiple players. In this game there are auto-scroll like segments. Only in the early game. Only 2. And both of them lock you into a specific weapon. Switch them into a specific weapon then, which is okay, is manageable. I have problem with the second one. It locks you into a specific weapon, which is shit, and not only that, it doesn't allow you to use MP tags, or also items. It doesn't allow you to use items. For the PlayStation 2 controls, triangle is a shortcut for healing by using items, but then you need to close the menu manually. While the item or MP tag menu is open, you can't attack with a command. And after using an item or MP tag, it takes a time to be able to close the menu. Likewise, those menus can be closed after using an item or MP tag. Items stacks only up to 9, of course. It's for each type of item, thankfully. It gets annoying when torrents start shooting you before they are visible on screen. And they respawn when entering different areas or when going into dungeons. Okay, dungeons still counts as arena. Of course, different arenas also include the server. For this game, the bit earning is very low. Like bits only sometimes appear under the waiting enemy. So then to earn more bits, it's by selling items, which can also be dropped by enemies. However, of course, there is an inventory limit, only up to 3 pages for weapons and equipment, that is. When collecting items, you need to interact to get them, but for bits and eggs data, you can just walk into them to collect them. Game, please choose your system for collecting dropped stuff by enemies. I didn't experience Dig Evolution in this game, because you can Dig Evolve into champion level Digimon only after completing quests, which might be only after finishing the game. Like most of the Dig Evolutions isn't connected to the level. Well, I only experienced Dig Evolutions from Rocky to Rocky Dig Evolutions, which resets your stats, so it's pointless Dig Evolutions. It's like a no game plus but a way force, and which can be done in the middle of the playthrough. Well, that's true for the playthrough, until I defeated the final boss. I got a Dig Evolution level, I got then a Rocky in the boss game. I assume it is champion level, but the game doesn't say it, or I can't find where it says. For which still the stats gets resetted, and most of the Dig Evolutions is locked behind hard difficulty, which gets unlocked after completing the game. And the harder difficulty probably is just with more annoying strategy from enemy CPUs. So, aiming Dig Evolutions in this game is pointless. If I get Dig Evolutions isn't connected to levels, or when at least one I get Dig Evolutions level isn't connected to the main quests. For most of the game, I had difficulty with regular CPU Digimon instead of both CPUs. Like mainly regular CPUs gangs up to me just by walking into me. I had an easier time with boss fights, like they all said actual strategy instead of scummy strategy. Only got annoying that one of the boss enemies just were prolonging the wait, like it did a lot of attacks where I couldn't reach it, and now attacking a bit wouldn't work, and technically there is an item boss out for it, which I needed to deal with first. But because I played through the emulator, then I also save states for the final boss, also for backups, but in that case only for saving. But for the final boss, I reloaded the save state that is, like it at a multiple pace, not just in one arena, but in multiples. Because of it, at the start I thought I would need to beat all phases of the final boss if I lost, but it will be a pain in the ass getting back to the boss fight. I figured I would save states. After beating the final boss, of course by using save states, I figured to judge what would happen if you lose as a final boss. You will need to restart the final boss. So if you were playing it on an actual consoles, then you will need to restart the final boss from the very first phase, or maybe even fight against enemies before the final boss if you lose. Of course, this true when reloading an in-game save file, and in that case even the puzzles in because you will need to return when reloading save. Well, sure, here and there were puzzles in the game, basically which were just waiting the correct button for the correct turn. However, for the final puzzle in 8 codes, for which there basically weren't any hits about it, only one, which said only specific numbers of things welcome was a final touch, which seems to be basically nothing to me. So of course I searched and I found a solution to it. It needed a specific number of each color, but the number of course varies. Like, I thought I figured that out by myself, maybe only by brute forcing. But then I thought know the solutions, if I would need to do it. So that's why Digimon World 4 is frustrating, at least when playing solo. If you're gonna play this game, then if possible, play with friends, which hopefully will help the party fully. Otherwise, if you can play it only solo, then in early game grind a lot. Really, you need to grind a lot in the early game if playing solo. It kinda sucks that it is connected to the Digimon World series, and in forthright release is dubbed as a Digimon World 4 is a main entry of the series. In Japan, it counts as a Digimon World X, so in a way, it isn't a true Digimon World 4 game. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, like the video, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.